What's up, everyone? The Oscars are less than a week away, so building up to that, I'm trying to review as many of the Oscar-nominated movies as I can. So today I'll be reviewing Nomadland. Real quick, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below, tell me what you thought of the movie. And this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so if you haven't seen the movie, there's going to be no spoilers in this video. Anyways, let's get into the review. So this movie is directed by Chloe Zhao, and it stars Frances McDormand in the lead role. She essentially is kind of a modern-day nomad, where she doesn't have a job, she doesn't have a consistent job, and she doesn't have a home, and she lives in her van, and she really lives a very minimalist lifestyle. Though it's not necessarily by choice, she worked a job at some sheetrock factory, then it got shut down, and so I guess by choice, but she's choosing to just kind of live on the road. Since she kind of is having a hard time with money and everything. And really this movie kind of follows her character as she meets different people, and she really travels throughout the United States, or the Western United States. She goes to all these locations and she kind of does these different kind of jobs here and there. It really just follows her experiences. This movie's shot in a way so it feels very realistic, and it really feels like a documentary. It almost feels more like a documentary than an actual movie, even though obviously it is, actors for the most part. But this movie really, Chloe Zhao, the director, does an amazing job at trying to capture the human experience in this situation to the maximum extent she can while still making a movie. It really kind of goes all in on just trying to make it feel real, and I really enjoyed that about the movie. So overall, I like this movie quite a bit. I would highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out. It's nominated for a ton of Oscars. I think it's very deserving of them. This is my first time watching it, so I was quite excited to check it out because I know it got nominated for a whole bunch of stuff, and it won some Golden Globe Oscars, if anyone cares about the Golden Globes. I love how this movie's shot. It feels very intentional, and it wants to feel real, and it's hard to describe, but if you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. The scenes don't necessarily connect to each other. It kind of shows a shot, and then it'll show another scene a day later, and won't really connect with the previous scene. And that's very intentional, obviously, and it's meant to make it feel more real, make it feel more like a documentary, a documentation of this character's life. This movie certainly has a unique style to it with the filming and with the writing, and it's not going to be for everyone, I don't think, but for me personally, it worked. I really enjoyed how it was shot. It's very unique. It's very different than your typical movie. It's not quite a documentary. It's more dramatized than a documentary, and obviously, it has actors in it, but it's not exactly a movie because it's not really structured as much like a movie. So it's kind of unique in its own little world, and I like that about it. I've seen movies similar to it. I can't recall what their names were, but it's not the first time I've seen a movie like this. It's a unique style, and I like when movies do different styles. It kind of makes it stand out a little more. And for this particular movie, with this plot about a girl kind of struggling with things, and she's living in her van, and she's really struggling with life. She's trying to understand life better, and her experiences with other people. For this instance, I think this style of movie works better. It captures her experience better, and that's really the goal of this movie, is to capture the life of this character. This movie does a great job at that, and really making you try to understand this character, this nomad lifestyle, and just understand what it's about, and what they go through and why they're doing it and stuff like that. And the movie explores a lot of that stuff. Overall, I just thought the directing and the writing was done very well, and that it made this movie really, really good. The acting in this movie is really good as well. Obviously, Frances McDormand gives a great role. There's another guy in here who's another actor. I don't recall his name, but he's kind of the other main, kind of supporting character that's recurring in the movie. But there's a lot of small performances. I really enjoyed these little small performances from these different characters throughout the movie that she meets. And they're not from the big movie stars. They're from smaller people. I don't even know if they're actual real actors. I did some research. It seemed like they were actual real life nomads or something like that. It definitely felt like they could be, because they kind of felt that way, because their performances felt very real. Those parts where they were in felt like a documentation. So either their performances were just really good, or they are real nomads and stuff. But either way, I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie, because this movie's very much about the characters and their lifestyle and all that. And I really enjoyed how this movie explored that, and how this movie used smaller actors to give these send these messages and give these compelling performances. But overall, the acting was really good, and nothing blew me away in this movie. Frances McDormand, who's a really good actress, her acting didn't blow me away, but it was very good. There's a lot of nice long panning landscape shots. of like, just mountains and valleys and fields and stuff like that. I really like shots like that. I'm a big sucker for like cinematography stuff like that. I really love stuff. I love stuff like that, and I liked how this movie did it and how this movie utilized mixing that with the characters and stuff. It just sucks that I had to watch this movie on Hulu and not on a disc or in theaters, because when you're streaming a movie, it looks terrible. I'm not sure if anyone else noticed that, but on my 4K TV, the stream of this movie just didn't look good, unfortunately, especially like the dark shots. And overall, I think Hulu is pretty bad when it comes to streaming. It's one of the weaker, in my opinion, one of the weaker streaming services, in my opinion. But anyway, that's beside the point. The movie looked great, just unfortunately, my version of it, the streaming version, doesn't look amazing. A lot of people seem to think this movie is boring. I've seen that complaint recurring in some of the negative reviews for it, but I completely disagree. Like I said, there's a style of this movie. It's very unique, and it's not going to be for everyone. This movie moves very slow, and that's kind of part of the idea of it. It's really trying to be a documentation of this character, and that's the point of the movie, I think. And so for me, I didn't find it boring personally. I found it actually quite intriguing, interesting to watch this character and her experiences and how they relate to different things. So I don't really get how someone could find this movie boring. I thought it was very, I wouldn't say entertaining, but interesting. Like, it's not the kind of movie I would want to revisit often, but like, I really found the topic and the plot and the characters, I found it all very interesting. And through that one watch of it, I was paying attention the entire time. I never felt like, oh, I want this movie to be over, it's so boring or something. I don't know. I never really get when people complain about a movie being boring. It's not a good complaint to me, and I thought this one wasn't in this case. So overall, like I said, like I've kind of alluded to, I really enjoyed this movie. Chloe Zhao does a terrific job with kind of making this movie feel authentic and make it feel real, and making these characters, or Frances McDormand's character, kind of come to life and make her character feel very real. And this movie's goal, I've said a number of times, is to feel real, and I think that works here. It has some really good messages about, like, these different lifestyles and how they're impacted by different things, and how maybe we don't understand that possibly. It has really good messages about kind of this lifestyle, like I said, that they're living. And this movie is really kind of emotional at times. I don't want to spoil any of it, but there's some emotional moments throughout the movie, sprinkled throughout the movie, and that does make it that much better, in my opinion. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I wasn't disappointed by it at all. I think it's definitely worthy of the Oscar buzz. It's not a movie that you might handpick to win Oscars. It's one of those classic modern day Oscar movies, but I think it's deserving. I think it is good. So I'm going to give Nomadland an 88% and A-. It's overall a pretty good movie, and it's very unique, and it really stands out. It has an emotional impact on you, and it has some good messages. I don't really have any complaints about the movie. It wasn't good enough to warrant a higher score in that case. Anyway, so that's my review for Nomadland. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the movie. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.